Hello, beach friends. Today we're going to be exploring Fort Myers Beach. Now, Fort Myers Beach doesn't have the seashell reputation that Sanibel does, but I seem to find the same fantastic shells here on this beach, so we'll just have to see what all we can discover today. Now, Fort Myers Beach also usually provides some opportunities to say hi to a few beach critters as well. So we're going to take in the sights, we'll see what fun things we're going to see today, and say hi to a couple of critters. So if you're ready for your weekly dose of beachy goodness, let's go to the beach. Now, as you can see from that previous shot here, not much on the beach, so I went straight for the water. And once I got there, I did see a lettered olive, and this critter is alive. So that is a live lettered olive. All of the seashells you find were created by some sort of creature. So whether it be a snail, this is considered a gastropod, so it only has one shell. Unlike clams or scallops, which would have two shells like a bivalve. So this is a gastropod. It's a squishy, fun little creature, and I just think they're so beautiful. And I also think that the olives are kind of alien looking. Now that's likely it's proboscis that's kind of sticking out of the shell there. And what for me was kind of intriguing is that what I kind of thought was the top of the shell is actually the back of the shell. So that little opening at the bottom of the olive is where the creature actually comes out and is able to kind of sniff around, see where it's going, and hunt down its prey. So that is a live lettered olive, and they typically will wrap their body around the shell, which is why they're so shiny. It kind of protects the shell. So we're gonna leave this critter where we found it and see what other kind of things we can find that we can keep. Okay, not a keeper. Here we have an apple murex, and it looks like we have one of those long-wristed hermit crabs in there. And I give it just a second. If it doesn't look like the critter's gonna come out, then no problem. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. So we'll just keep it moving. Oh, all right, here we have a seraph. So that is a dark seraph. There are a couple different types of seraphs. We're gonna take a peek at a different kind in a little bit. And I did bring the husband with me. It looks like he's managed to find a couple of those augers, a little olive, a little moon snail, cool, piece of coral. But I thought was kind of cool was this keyhole limpet. Yep, all of a sudden I keep finding them, which is really cool because they had eluded me for a very long time. Now, when you take a look at the beach, it looks like this. Sometimes it's crushed shells, and sometimes there's little itty bitty tiny shells like that NASA. So it just depends. You kind of got to pick through. You never know. At first glance, it could look like it's just things that are all kind of crushed, but sometimes hiding in there are little tiny treasures like this cool shell that I have never seen before. So it took me a little while to kind of try to figure this out. I'm not 100% certain, but pretty sure this is a worn down Tampa turrid. So that's what I'm thinking that shell is. I'd never found it, so that little shell set me back a good hour or so trying to figure out what it was. Oh, here's a little shell. So that is a little button shell. Cool little shell. And you'll see sometimes there's pieces, and sometimes you're going to have a whole little guy. So that is a fly speck seraph. So that is also a seraph, just a different kind called a fly speck seraph. Check out this little tiny shell because there's a little tiny hermit crab in it. Yep, right there. So you really got to be careful when you're collecting near the water or in the water to make sure that the shells are empty. So this would not be considered a keeper. And it does that little weird jumping thing that the big ones do too. Cool little hermit crab. Prickly cockle. I swear, I just love these. I know they're kind of like meh on this side, but I love the color on the inside of that shell. Really pretty. And oh, well, awesome to find it. It is living, so that is a live banded tulip. So not a keeper. And again, like the olive, the top of the shell is not the front where the animal comes out. The animal comes out of the shell where you have that opening, and you'll see its beautiful body. It's black with those white speckles on it, and then that hard kind of amber looking thing. That is the shell's operculum. So a pretty friendly little critter. I'm going to speed this up. I'm walking a little bit deeper into the water so I could deposit it. And it wasn't quite ready to go. It kind of stuck on me. So I gently got it off my finger so it could go about doing its banded tulip thing. Yeah, for a hot second, I thought this might be an albino olive because I am still searching, but it's not albino. There is the littlest bit of color on it, so I know that is not an albino, but it's pretty close. I'll probably keep it, as a placeholder for when I really do find the albino olive, but I'm getting there. That one was nice and light anyway. Oh, a Florida fighting conch. Oh, yeah. Gorgeous orange on the inside. Probably not going to be able to resist that beautiful shell, so that fighting conch is going to come home with me. Beautiful. Oh, a sea urchin. Okay, so this is a short-spined sea urchin. They're so funny. They collect shells, so I love them, but they do it for like camouflage. They think they're hiding, and I'm just looking to see if it's really active, and this guy isn't so active. So I'm just going to dig out a little spot with my foot, kind of give it a little indentation to kind of protect it just a little bit from those waves coming in. So this is the egg casing of a lightning whelk. So lightning whelks start their life in these little discs, and they start also already with a little tiny shell. So the tiniest little shells that you can imagine are what is kind of, they incubate in those little discs. So once they eat each other also. So it's kind of like a real big survival of the fittest type thing. But those all have hatched, hopefully making nice, pretty snails. And a spiny jewel box. It's not really spiny. I'm going to say it's kind of spiky. So we have a little bit of a spiky jewel box. Oh, hello, ibis. It's one of our beach birds. And this is another great place to see beach birds on this pier here. Typically, it's the pelicans, but right now we do have one of those cormorants out there. And the cormorants are really cool because they swim for their food. So they literally swim underwater, and it is drying its wings right now because it does not have those natural oils that keep the birds buoyant, like pelicans, ducks, things of that nature. So doesn't have the oils so that it can dive underneath, and then it'll perch itself somewhere and dry itself off. So cool. So there's two birds that do it. The anhinga is the other one, but that's more of a freshwater bird. So that's why I know that this is a cormorant. Now this is on a different day, but it just kind of gets you a little bit closer of a shot. Kind of looks like a fancy duck. It does have like a hooked bill. And the tourists wanted a picture with it, but the bird didn't seem to like that too much. Just as well. So this is a little spot over by that pier. It is absolutely beautiful. What a gorgeous morning to be on the beach. And we have another critter. So this is a calico box crab. And I was hoping it was alive, so I you alive, buddy? Oh, they're just fine, blowing bubbles. Now the box crabs are cool because they kind of tuck all their appendages into one little neat package, and it actually keeps the sand from getting into their gills. And so that's why they kind of have that shape. These guys will bury themselves under the sand in the surf zone. So I guess he just came out for a little while, probably to say hi, which was really nice. So hello, beautiful box crab. Oh, all right. let's go see what else is on the beach. Here we have just a little shady spot, and I like seeing the difference of the color of the water. Once that sun hits the water, oh, it's so pretty. It's a perfect 74 degrees out. And look here how much the beach has changed. At first glance, there was nothing on the beach, and then you just walk a little way, and here we go, it changes. So I definitely, if you want to find shells, just cover as much beach as you can. It looks like I rescued a bubble and an apple murex from here. So let's see what else might be buried here. Oh, look at this. Now, I'm not positive, but I think that is an elegant glassy bubble. So this is not an immature or a very, juvenile shell. That's as big as it gets. So I'm pretty sure that is that's an elegant glassy bubble. And if I'm wrong, please correct me in the comments. I'd love that. Now here we have one of the types of angel wings we can get here. This is a false angel wing, and you can tell because that bumpy pattern on the fatter part of the shell does not translate all the way to the end. So that is a false angel wing. And check this out. I've never found one of these. See that little curvy piece on that bottom left? Well, that makes this guy different. So this is a fallen angel wing. Never found one before. They don't get as big as the true angel wings, but still really cool little shell. Oh, speaking of little shells, so this is one of those clams, those fancy clams I love, the Sunray Venus, and it is just a tiny little hinged thing. Awesome. Oh, and a little fancy arc. So this is a zigzag arc, or commonly called a turkey wing. So there we have a turkey wing. And this is a calico scallop. It's just a little discolored, making it kind of gray and purple. Very lovely little calico scallop. Oh, and I love the buttery color of this. So this is a buttercup lucine. Yeah, something drilled a hole through that shell. Still fantastic little find. Yep, it is absolutely beautiful out. People out and about enjoying the day as they should. A little top snail. Fantastic. You'll notice that, well, I don't know that you can. Underneath it will have that kind of mother of pearl coating. And here we have another one of those calico scallops with a little barnacle on the bottom. Bonus. Oh, yay. So this is one of the little whelks we get down here. Nice color on this pear whelk. Sometimes that base color will be white, and other times it's kind of yellow like that. Fantastic. Oh, another top snail. Let's see if we can see that nacre, that mother of pearl. No, that's in pretty good shape. Oh, couple bubbles. Excellent. So we got a top snail, a couple bubbles. Oh, and a spotted slipper snail. A couple of fun little shells. Okay, here's another little shell. All right, I'm going to say with 75% certainty that I think this is a Gulf oyster drill. Still working on that one. I'm not great at the smaller shells. I'm working that. We'll get there though. We're going to pay more attention to some of those tinier shells and hopefully have an easier time identifying them. This is a rough scallop. Now it has totally different coloring than the calico scallop, and it does have a little bit different of a shape. I'm going to try at some point to find these two so I can kind of show them side by side. And this is another one of those spotted slipper snails. These are also called boat shells. If you did find yourself a little tidal pool and you flipped it over, that little shell would float. So we're making our way down. The tide is very high right now, and that's fine because it's warm out. And it doesn't get, you can really kind of walk out a bit on Fort Myers Beach before it actually starts getting deep. So even at high tide, it's not so bad. All right, here is a true angel wing. Even though it's got that little little bend on the bottom. That is a true angel wing. And what's kind of strange about these guys is sometimes they're very delicate and other times they're really quite sturdy. So it's looks like this guy's probably one of the sturdier ones. Great condition. A little angel wing. All right, beach has changed again. Just kind of scanning. Oh, there's a prickly cockle, but I'm going for the crown conch. Well, it is a crown conch. It's only about half of it, and yeah, there's just too much missing for me. So, womp womp. Gonna go ahead and just leave that here at the beach. So yeah, it is a beautiful day. And we're going to talk about this in a minute, but we notice you have some live trees and then we have some trees that aren't so alive. And we're going to talk about that and why they are the way they are. But I happen to think it really kind of makes the beach look ethereal and just real beautiful. They don't bother me at all. Now, this little shell, help me out. I don't know what that is. I thought a pointed Venus clam, but it's not the right shape. I don't know what that color is. I could not figure it out. I tried, but if anybody knows what that is, if you would drop me a comment, I would really appreciate it. So it is an absolutely lovely day, and the beach continues to change as you walk down toward the south end. Now, even at this point, if you were going to do this walk and it looked a little sketchy, there are plenty of places that you can kind of cut through. So even if you feel like you're getting stuck at a point, somebody else before you probably made some sort of trail, so just wait and follow the other people. They'll show you where to go. Now here we have some egg casings. So that is a horse conch egg casing, and I think part of it's buried, and I didn't want to monkey around with it too much. So that is another egg casing. We had seen the one from the lightning whelk. This is from a horse conch. And again, that piece is buried. This piece was free, and you can see the openings at the end, the circle at the end of that kind of triangle looking casing there. So those hopefully have hatched. They're out growing, doing their thing. I don't know the condition of the other ones, so I'm just going to leave it be. But more egg casings mean more little babies are out there, hopefully making more little shells. Now, let's talk about these trees. Now, some of them, as you see, are dead. And they are dead because they were here. They decided to grow just like everything in Florida, but it doesn't belong here. It shouldn't be in the salt water. So the salt water will rise and it will kill them. Unlike the mangroves that thrive in this kind of environment. And they're so important to the ecosystem down here. They can obtain fresh water from salt water. So these trees don't need that fresh water the way that some other ones do. They absolutely thrive in this kind of environment. Now, some of the mangroves will actually excrete salt in their leaves, which is kind of cool. And the roots of these are red mangroves. They provide a nursery grounds for young fish and crustaceans and all sorts of other little critters. Now, I had taken a trip down to the Everglades, and you can see this. This is just a mangrove forest, and I just love them. I think they're so beautiful. So you'll see the green stuff on the beach, and that means it's healthy and it's supposed to be here. Some of the dead stuff, not so much. I think it looks pretty, but just so you know, the reason they're dead is because it can't tolerate the salt water. And this fantastic horse conch, well, it's got a hole in it, but the color is great. That's too bad. I'm going to keep it anyway. I know it's got a little hole, but I think that's great. And this is probably from the husband because that olive isn't shiny. And then we also have a little fighting conch. Now, I know I am not the only one that loves the beach, the sights, the smells, and I did put an entire video together of just beach time. So I'm going to give you a little snippet here. I will leave a link in the description box below. Okay, I hope you're refreshed after that. Here we have another true angel wing. I don't typically call them true angel wings, but since we've been finding all different kinds today, that is a true angel wing. Not to be confused again with this fallen angel wing. So weird. I've never seen them before. And then all of a sudden, it appeared. So that is another one of those fallen angel wings. Very cool. So that's a prickly cockle. I do love those prickly cockles. And this one's really cool because it's an albino. Now, I'm a little bummed because it's not really pristine. It's got some marks and whatnot on the inside. But I'm still really psyched to find an albino anything. But an albino prickly cockle is pretty cool. Here's another. This is not albino, just very light. You can see it is beach bleached. So that is just a really bleached out prickly cockle. You can just tell. Sometimes it's really light and then other times it's white. Oh, so this is a colorful moon snail. It is a little bit pitted, but it's still in overall decent shape. So I'm going to hold on to that. Gaudy Nautica. Oh, here is one of our Murex shells, the apple Murex. It's kind of got some cool coloring. Not pristine, but still cool shell. Whoa, nice color. So there's that prickly cockle interior on the left and a beautiful calico scallop on the right. Some nice, real purple, bright colors. Awesome. Another bright color, one of those. We found one. This one does not have a drill hole in it, so that, wow, really yellow buttercup lucine. Awesome shell. So making my way back north at this point, and it's always curious to me where I'll walk the same exact beach and all of a sudden there's new shells there. So that's always kind of fun. Let's do a quick check-in. Yep, tide is coming in, and this kind of goes to show, like, I know I typically go at low tide, but go when you can. Just go to the beach. Guess what? All right, that's like a perfect albino prickly cockle. Awesome. And stick around to the end. I'm going to show you how cool that shell cleaned up. Now, if you happen to see this scene or you follow me on social media, you probably did see this beautiful little scene. I couldn't wait to share it. So I do encourage you to follow me on Instagram. I am going to be doing a giveaway soon. So please, got to be in it to win it. So make sure you follow me on Instagram. So that's the end of day one. Now we are starting an entire new walk. This time we're going at low tide. So at the beginning of this video, I just went, it was fun, saw cool stuff, had to share. This time I came on purpose at low tide to see what kind of fun things we're gonna find. And it's really windy, so that's probably helping kick up a little bit of stuff. All right, not looking promising here, is it? There's a smattering of stuff, but I'm not worried. It's low tide, and I don't know, I just got a good feeling about our walk today. I feel like we're going to see all sorts of cool stuff. All right, we're going to start off day two with a little kitten paw, a 9-fingered kitten, or would it be fingers? What do they have, toes? So that's a kitten paw with lots of little appendages. Now, this was different to me. I know you might, oh, what, a ponderous arc? What's the big deal? But it's not a ponderous arc. I think that is a blood arc. Because I've been leafing through my shell book, that's how I kind of learn, and I like to see what other things I should be looking for out there. So this did look a little different to me compared to the ponderous arc. So I'm going to show you in just a sec. So they're a little bit different. That is a ponderous arc. See them all the time. But that first one I picked up is just shaped totally different. And it looks more so from the reverse side. So on the left, we have that blood arc. The first one has much more of an oval shape, whereas the ponderous arc on the right, kind of a little bit more square. So I thought that blood arc was kind of cool. Kind of cool to see something different. And here's one of those pointed Venus clams. Yep, that one I know. Cool little shell, and that's about as big as they get. They don't get real big. So it's windy. There's stuff here, and if, in the back of my head, I'm thinking, is it are they little shells? Is it just crushed stuff? And as I'm searching, I found one of these. Now, these are typically here. I just haven't talked about them for a while. So we do have rocks here, and I'm looking for one that's going to have a hole all the way through it. They're called hagstones or fairy stones. So this one, I'm going to rinse it off and see if that hole goes all the way through. They're just rocks that are here on the beach, but they get tumbled by the Gulf, and the water kind of not drills a hole, but it erodes a hole into the rocks. So sometimes you'll find these rocks with holes eroded right through it. I think it's kind of fun. Here's another one. Look how big the hole on that one is. And it's almost not perfectly circular, but really, really circular. So if you find yourself with a rock with a hole in it, that is a hagstone. It was super windy. You could see all the umbrellas just kind of rattling in the wind. Yeah, the wind was 15 miles an hour. It's 87 degrees. The tide is going out. And these poor birds, this is how I felt that one day I was kayaking. Like I'm paddling and paddling and paddling, and I'm going nowhere. So I was kind of feeling bad for the birds. And just a reminder, this is one of the reasons I ask you to not chase them off the beach. They have a rough time sometimes. And then this is just a rock, but it was really, really black. And I don't know, I think some of you collectors out there can appreciate some of the rocks we have down here. I don't know what the substance is. I don't think it's limestone, but kind of a cool, really dark rock. Now this I know what it is. It almost looks like a unicorn. So that is a spiny jewel box. It's only got its one little horn left. I do enjoy those shells immensely. Oh, dang it. All right, so this is just a piece of an alphabet cone, and I was looking to see if there's any letters. Looks to me more like Morse code. So no letters on that little piece. Let's keep it moving. Now, remember what this looked like when it was nice and calm the other day, and now the sun's going down. The surf is just whipping around. And we got the birds out. And the beach is still not looking great, but that's okay. I still have lots more beach to cover, so I'm not worried. Here we have one of those fancy clams. The Sunray Venus clam. Don't know why I like them. I just do. And this clouds. Yep, the summer here in Florida brings the clouds and the rain. It hasn't rained here, I don't know, in months. So kind of exciting to see those big clouds. And they'll be here. Once they're here to stay for quite a few months. Here we have a juvenile fighting conch. Nice and spiky. It's a fun little shell. Yep. Hold on to that fighting conch. All right, now it's a bummer that it's windy because it makes the top of the water really ripply and a little bit harder to see. So at this point, I'm kind of just going for color, something that's kind of big. Here we have a hinged giant Atlantic cockle. Those are fun shells, also known as a heart cockle. Very cool. And I was so excited. So it's a tail. And I pull up the lightning bolt and I'm like, oh, darn it. Because one, it's alive and I disturbed it. I always feel bad when if I don't know and I dig it up. So I am so sorry, friend, but it's beautiful. So that is a live lightning whelk. Looks like it's got a little slipper or something on there. And like I said, I'm feeling kind of bad about digging them up. So I'm going to walk them out, dig a hole with my foot and try to help that little critter get back in the sand. So the tide is really going out. However, we have been hanging out for a while at this point. So we are going to finish next week, but I have a couple of previews. We are going to see this live fighting conch. How fun is that? This really, really active or urchin. And of course, we are probably going to find a couple of shells. So low tide is going to be kind, and we are definitely going to find some goodies. There's a little preview. Now, before we go, I did want to show you that prickly cockle. So that is that albino prickly cockle that I found. And all I did was soak it in 100% bleach. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? So that's how you know. You just know. When you find an albino, it is white, not beach bleached, but it is white, white, white. So I'm really excited to share with you next week. We do get to see some things we've never seen before. I don't know how that keeps happening, but it does. And I want to say big thank you to my Patreons and everybody else who comes along on my walks with me. I really, really appreciate it. I enjoy what I do so very much, and it just delights me that everyone else, or the people that watch anyway, really enjoy coming to the beach with me. So next week we are going to finish our walk, going to find cool stuff. I hope you have a great week, and I'll see you again next Sunday.